It's a Victory Monday here on Good Morning NFC East. Jeff Kerr here, wide awake because the Eagles actually played the 1 o'clock game yesterday and actually got home at a standard time for normal civilized people to get home with Tone DeShields today. I can tell he's fired up as well. And Tone, Sunday was an exciting day in the NFC East.
Definitely, my man. Definitely. We thought Sunday was going to be a really, really gritty game, man. And, there's so many topics I want to hit with you today because I feel like a lot of questions got answered. And I feel like we still have some questions that have yet to be answered. So, let's just hop right into it, Jeff. Eagles dominated the Titans 35-10. They improved to 11-1, lead the NFC East. And I got to start with I got to start with the obvious. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, those guys came to ball. Devontae Smith came in and did his thing. But what was your instant reaction to that game and how it played out?
The Eagles are by far and away the best team in the National Football League. Far and away. This was a game where they were supposed to be challenged, right? They were supposed to be the less physical team. They couldn't match up with a team as powerful as the Tennessee Titans.
That's what everyone said.
And they blew them out of the building. They absolutely destroyed this team. And I was willing to tell anyone who listened, I thought it was going to be a close game. Don't get me wrong.
Same.
But this is my honest opinion. You stop Derrick Henry and you throw the ball off this football team, you're going to beat them. Well, they stopped Derrick Henry early. And I was more than happy with Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen saying to Jalen Hurts, go sling the rock, man, because I'm sorry, A.J. Brown was a man-child compared to those baby Titans cornerbacks.
Yeah, A.J. Brown, 8 catches on 10 targets, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 40-yard touchdown, and a 29-yard touchdown. And then Devontae Smith got his as well, 5 catches on 8 targets, 102 yards, a touchdown, and averaged 20 yards a catch. Jalen Hurts completed 74% of his passes, going 29 for 39, 380 passing yards, which is 7 short of his career high. 3 passing touchdowns, averaged almost 10 yards an attempt. To add to that, he had a rushing touchdown, so 4 total touchdowns on the day. Man, Jalen Hurts, this is the kind of guy that you cannot help but to root for because every time you have a question about him, he answers it. He answers it, Jeff. And I love the trajectory he's on. I love his rate of growth. But what stood out to me the most about that game yesterday was his willingness to spread the ball around. I believe in that game, he was able to hit 9 different receivers in that game. You saw drives where he hit 3, 4, 5 different guys at a time. He hit Kenny Gainwell, hit Boston Scott really quickly. He hit Jack Stoll and Greg Calcaterra, who caught all of their targets and who caught all their targets. He made it a point to spread that ball around. And another point I want to bring up to you is, and I want to get your insight on this. We talked about the passing attack being limited without Dallas Goedert. Is it fair to say that this passing attack has evolved or morphed into something potentially, I don't want to say more dangerous, but a different type of danger that they can provide to opposing defenses?
Well, let's start with the obvious. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of the National Football League on December 5th. We got 5 games to go here. We got 5 weeks to go. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of the National Football League. I believe there's only 2 guys ahead of him in total touchdowns right now. One of them is Patrick Mahomes, but Jalen Hurts has 29 total touchdowns this year. He has 20 throwing, which no one thought he was going to do this year. I did. I don't know why anybody else wouldn't think so. And he has 9 rushing touchdowns this year. He's the first player in franchise history to throw for 350, pass for 3 touchdowns, and run for a touchdown in the game. Keep moving those goalposts because Jalen Hurts is just going to keep moving them back. But to answer your question about Dallas Goedert, yeah, I think the Eagles presented this as a challenge. And I know the Titans' pass defense isn't good. If we want to move goalposts, that's fine. But Jalen Hurts, to me, evolved as a quarterback because he did not have a security blanket in Dallas Goedert. Now he's throwing the ball to Jack Stoll. Now he's throwing the ball to Greg Calcaterra. The Eagles learned they can rely on their 2 number 1 wide receivers. Yes, I said 2. They do have 2 number 1 wide receivers. That was my story for CBSSports.com yesterday. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is an elite as a wide receiver as they can come. And Jalen Hurts said it best. He's elite. That's what he said yesterday when he spoke to all of us. Devonta Smith is elite. I saw that firsthand yesterday. He is an excellent route runner. He knows how to free up the offense for A.J. Brown, and I loved how Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen said earlier that game, we're going to Devonta Smith. We're going to open this game up. Devonta catches a 34-yard touchdown, 3 catches, 59 yards, and a touchdown on that first drive. A.J. Brown, we know what he could do. He just seems to amaze every week, especially for 1 o'clock games at home. To me, Tone, it's plain and simple. The Eagles' offense evolved, and Jalen Hurts evolved in the absence of Dallas Goedert, and now they're going to get him back. I just don't know how you stop this offense right now. They run for 350 one week, and then they throw for 350 the next week. There's only 3 teams in the history of the NFL that do that. Good luck stopping them.
Yeah, this team can literally morph and evolve into whichever they need, whoever or whatever they need to be that day. And it's almost like they just take the shape of the opponent, or it's like the perfect puzzle piece. They can fit anywhere on the board. They're so versatile. They're a jack of all trades. But this coaching staff, I want to give them their flowers as well, because there were a lot of questions about this coaching staff. I think there still are. Some people call Nick Sirianni extremely emotional. Some people think Jonathan Gannon is stubborn. Some people think Shane Steichen can kind of get a little vanilla at times. Some people think Michael Clay is not doing his job. But on all 3 phases, this team showed up. You mentioned the defense earlier, and how they were able to limit Derrick Henry. They held Derrick Henry to 30 yards on a 2.7 average. His longest run of the day was 6 yards. If that's not answering the call, if that's not answering the bell, I don't know what is. This front 7 dominated the pace of this game, Jeff.
Yeah. What's this I hear? Jonathan Gannon didn't have a good game yesterday. I'm joking, Seth. I'm joking here.
He stacked the box a few times too. I didn't think he had it in him. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. That 5-man front was incredible yesterday. Jonathan Gannon's had some good games as defensive coordinator. I think yesterday was his best, and it wasn't even close. I think that was one of those, okay, you want to challenge us with Derrick Henry? Fine, we could do that. We got Jordan Davis. We'll line up him. We'll line up Linval Joseph. We'll line up Ndamukong Suh. I still don't know how many snaps Ndamukong Suh played or Jordan Davis played yet. I didn't get a chance to look at that. But, man, this team is so dangerous with Jordan Davis in this lineup. I mean, Robert Quinn didn't play yesterday. Milton Williams answered the call, filling in for him. The pressure was incredible. Again, this team does not need the blitz to get to the quarterback. Let's get that clear right now. I don't know what some Eagles fans want, because this is a top 5 defense in the National Football League. They get to the quarterback. They stop the pass. They can stop the run. Yes, they can stop the run. That's a narrative, by the way. Are they elite against the run? No, but they can stop it. Darius Slay and James Bradbury. You want to hear a stat, Tone? They were combined, both for targeted 4 times. No catches, no yards, 2 pass breakups, and James Bradbury should have had a pick 6. They are a dominant unit. I'm sorry they're not the Buddy Ryan defense, the famed Buddy Ryan defense that never won a playoff game. I'm sorry they're not the famed Jim Johnson defense.
You got Jeff fired up this morning, y'all. Y'all got him fired up.
This is a damn good defense. Bottom line, point blank, period.
It is. Their ability to control the gaps in that game was spectacular. And is it fair to say that they may have the best D tackle rotation in the NFL? Again, let's go through some of these names. Fletcher Cox, Ndamukong Suh, Javon Hargrave, Linval Joseph, Jordan Davis. You still got Milton Williams waiting in the rafters. You still got a young Marlon Tuipulotu who knows how to make a play here and there. Do they have arguably the best D tackle rotation in the NFL?
It's definitely the deepest. I'm really starting to think that. I mean, Linval Joseph was a home run signing for Howie Roseman. What he's able to do against the run, how he's able to just come in there and he's only been on the team, 3 games? And he's made an impact in each one? That's hard to do. I mean, Linval Joseph was clearly a player who should have been playing in the National Football League the whole year, but he did not want to be like Jerry Hughes and waste his time at the Houston Texans. He waited for an opportunity like the Eagles to come around. He waited for a job to come open, and he's playing his part. And one of my biggest regrets yesterday was not being able to talk to him or Ndamukong Suh. I could not find him, believe it or not. As big of a presence as those guys are, I just could not find them in that locker room yesterday. But, man, they are making an impact on that defense. Same with Ndamukong Suh. They're putting pressure up the middle. They're clogging the holes. Now you got Jordan Davis involved. I'll tell you what, Tone, dare I say it, I know it's only week 13, but this felt like a game in 2004 when they played the Green Bay Packers, who were supposed to be an excellent challenge to that loaded team, and the Eagles blew them out of the building. I said that day, this team's going to Super Bowl. I'm really starting to think that with this football team right now. This team is going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. They are a very, very good football team, and I know there's challenges ahead, but this football team is answering every single call. If this is a 12-round boxing match, they won every round so far.
Absolutely. 453 total offense on the ground, 453 yards of total offense, and they only allowed 209 of a total offense from the Titans. And they still had some issues, with the 12 penalties, with losing 80 yards, and the offensive line was pretty sloppy. I will admit that, the holding, the false starts. I trust this veteran offensive line. I trust their Jeff Stoutland to get those things cleaned up, so I don't want to harp too much on that. But you brought up the challenges that are coming for this team. The fact that there's a chance that this team can represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I have a question for you. Are the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys the best two teams in the NFC? Because what we saw yesterday, in my humble opinion, based on everything we saw between the Giants and the Commanders, and we saw what the Cowboys did to the Colts. Granted, they are the Colts, but they are a gritty team. The Eagles and the Cowboys have clearly separated themselves from the rest of the NFC East. Clearly.
Oh yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the Dallas Cowboys are the second best team in this conference, especially now that the San Francisco 49ers lost Jimmy Garoppolo for the season. I don't want to jump the shark here and say they can't win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy because they have the defense and the skill players that can, but Jimmy Garoppolo, I thought, was the key there, right? Jimmy Garoppolo was the stable factor. I just don't know how mystery relevant in the draft can lead this team to multiple victories in the playoffs. Their defense can, but Brock Purdy's going to have to make some throws against some really good teams like the Eagles and the Cowboys, and I just don't know, Tone. It just doesn't feel like it was meant to be for the 49ers this year, as good as they are. And I'll tell you what, I would bring Jimmy Garoppolo back if I was them because that's a really good football team. They're still a really good football team. And Brock Purdy did enough to beat the Dolphins yesterday. But what's going to happen when you have a full week of game film with him? Dallas outscored the Colts 33-0 in the fourth quarter last night. I've been as impressed with the Cowboys as pretty much anybody. And I always make the joke, they're just setting themselves up for the inevitable divisional playoff loss because they do like to blow teams out. But make no mistake about it, this is a really good football team. When Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott are clicking like they are, they don't need Dak Prescott to be a superhuman quarterback here. And by the way, he's playing like one too. So I don't know. I don't know when the Eagles and Cowboys will beat up. If the Eagles hold serve here and win this division, Dallas will be the 5 seed. They probably would play Tampa Bay in the first round, and then they might meet in the divisional playoffs. But it does feel like the Eagles and Cowboys are a collision course to meet 3 times this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Cowboys improved to 9-3. Eagles improved to 11-1. Giants and Commanders. Giants go 7-4-1, and Commanders go 7-5-1 respectively. So again, I think the Eagles and Cowboys are clearly on a different level than the Commanders and the Giants. You said they might be meeting a third time. I know you said divisional round, but again, these teams,
it could be.
It could be. But I want to take it a step further. Could this be an NFC championship matchup? Is this setting up to be maybe one of the more electric Christmas Eve games, one of the more electric playoffs that we've seen between divisional opponents?
Well, the Christmas Eve game, if the Eagles hold serve, that might be for the NFC East right there. In terms of the Eagles can clinch the NFC East on Christmas Eve. But even if the Eagles are still up what they are now on Christmas Eve and lose that game, it doesn't matter because they play the Saints and the Giants next. So they can still clinch the division then. What the Eagles need to do is, look, Dallas don't play anybody the next 2 weeks. They play the AFC South. They play Jacksonville and they play Houston. Then they play Philadelphia. Then they got Tennessee. Or I think it's Jacksonville. It's Jacksonville and Houston the next 2 weeks. I'm just not sure of the order. But either way, that's who they play. The Eagles play the Giants, which is going to be a tough team because the Giants are playing for their playoff lives. I still don't know how good the Giants are, by the way. And then they play the Chicago Bears, who have Justin Fields, and that's it. So, I think December 24th is going to have meaning, but maybe not the meaning that people in Dallas think. That's just my opinion. With the way the Eagles are going, look, Eagles have started 11-1. They seriously could be 13-1 by the time that Dallas game rolls around.
Yeah, if you ask me, I don't think the playoff picture is going to really change too much in the NFC. I think we've got a pretty strong idea of the at least 8 teams that are in contention really for a playoff spot. I know.
By the way, they have to keep pace because the Vikings aren't losing.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because the Vikings are keeping pace. They improved to 10-2, and I don't know what it is about the Vikings, Jeff. I just don't. When I watch them, I don't see a team that can really win unless they have home field advantage in the playoffs.
Honestly, they're 9-0 with one-score games. They're the first team to ever win their first 9 one-score games, especially in the first 13 weeks. And you know what, Tone? They get the job done.
They do.
I give them credit. They win games, but I think why people write them off is they got blown out by the Eagles and they got blown out by the Cowboys. And I can honestly, just sit here and say, hey, look, the New York Jets show won yesterday. I could say a lot of teams have played the Vikings, but the Vikings win. And Justin Jefferson does enough to produce for them. And they can run the ball. And I'll tell you why I don't really give the Vikings a chance. I think their pass defense is just beyond atrocious. Atrocious. When Patrick Pearson was making those comments on Kyler Murray this week, I said, shouldn't Patrick Pearson be worried about the 31st ranked pass defense in the National Football League instead of what the hell his former teammates doing?
Yeah, that was a little, that was a strange exchange between those guys. But I say all that to say, if the NFC runs through Philadelphia, then how dangerous can this Eagles team be in the playoffs?
Well, can I give you a piece of advice, Tone?
Uh-oh.
They haven't lost on the road yet.
They haven't.
Their
right.
loss is at home.
That singular loss, yeah.
But when someone said, I saw someone go on my Twitter feed yesterday. People are stupid. Again, they like to move the goalpost. Oh, but the Eagles beat these teams on the road, they lose. I responded back, well, the Eagles are undefeated on the road. So what's your point?
Yeah, and then on top of that home loss, think about how many things had to happen for them to lose that game. Like everything it was almost like the football gods had to influence every single interaction, every single play of that game for the Commanders to get that win. So many fumbles. It was just some uncanny things that happened.
Just remember, in the Eagles' loss, the team had to run the ball 49 times, most against the Eagles since 2004. They had to have possession for 40 minutes, most by the Eagles since 2014. And, by the way, the Eagles had to have their worst third down mark. Sorry. The Eagles' third down defense was their worst since 1991 when that stat was tracked. So that's how hard it is to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Right there.
And three fumbles in one quarter, that just doesn't happen. Like, that's just something that's not really. So,
exactly.
Again, so many things had to happen.
I could sit here and say the Philadelphia Eagles should be 12-0 right now. I mean, if we really want to be quite honest.
Absolutely. And final question of the segment. Where is Jalen Hurts on your MVP ladder? I know you mentioned it before, but I really want you to really dissect this and break this down because I know Patrick Mahomes had a little bit of a down game. Joe Burrow had an amazing game. I know Tua lost. So where is Jalen Hurts really on your MVP ladder, and how is your MVP ladder stacking up right now?
I'm going to give it to Jalen Hurts right now. Best player on the best team in the National Football League. Look, Patrick Mahomes is right there. I mean, if I want to be honest, it's neck and neck. But if I had the vote today, it would be Jalen Hurts just because of the impact he makes on this team. Throwing the football, running the football, how he carries this offense, how much he's improved. I mean, he's one of the best. He is the best quarterback in the pocket this year. He's the best quarterback in the pocket. It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's not Joe Burrow. It's him. He's got the highest passer rating inside the pocket this year. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league on third down, on fourth down. It's, going into Sunday, you could say Patrick Mahomes, you could say Tua Tagovailoa. And by the way, Patrick Mahomes still has an MVP case. I'll argue Patrick Mahomes' MVP case against Jalen Hurts every day. But if I'm voting right now, just by what he does, throwing the football, running the football, Jalen Hurts is the MVP of the National Football League.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you. Hey, you guys, we have our guy, Mike Gill, coming up after the break from 97.3 to Sports Bash, ESPN, covering your Philadelphia Eagles, covering all things Philadelphia sports related, and he does an amazing job. I always love his insight. I love what he provides to the show, and I love what he provides to the sports game, to the sports zeitgeist. You guys are locked in on Good Morning NFC East with my man, Jeff Kerr. I'm your man, Tone DeShields II. Keep it locked, you guys. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned.